If you're preparing for your Duolingo English test, then you've probably already taken the official practice test on the Duolingo test website. But here's a question for you. Is the practice test exactly the same as the official exam? Well, the answer is no, it is not exactly the same. And a lot of test takers don't realize that, so when they take their official exam, they get a nasty surprise. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the main differences between the practice test and the official test. But quickly, if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Teacher Luke from DETready.com, and I help over 1,000 test takers every single month prepare and pass their Duolingo English test. So if that sounds interesting to you, check the link somewhere down here in the video description to see how I can help you. But anyway, let's get started by talking about the most important difference between the practice test and the official exam, and that is to do with the question types. Alright, so the practice test does include all 14 different DET questions, just like on the official exam. However, they do not appear as often on the practice test as they do on the official exam. For example, on the practice test, you only get one right about the photo. However, on the official exam, you'll get this 3 times. 3 times in a row. Photo, photo, photo. And a lot of test takers don't realize that and they think, why am I seeing this question type again? That's why it's really important to not just know what questions are on the Duolingo English test, but how frequently they appear. Check out this chart right here. This chart shows all 14 different DET questions and the frequency on the practice test and the official exam. And if you look closely, you'll see that there are a few important differences. Some of the most important differences are, for interactive reading, you'll get this once on the practice test, but twice on the official exam. Same goes for interactive listening, once on the practice test, twice on the official test. Right about the photo, like we already talked about, once on the practice test, but 3 times on the official exam. And like I mentioned, these appear one after another, so it is quite a challenging question type. Listen, then speak. You get this once on the practice test, but twice on the official exam. And since the number of questions increases on the official exam, it of course means the whole length of the exam is a bit longer. The practice test takes about 45 minutes and the real exam takes just about 1 hour or a little bit more. Okay, so the practice test is a really useful way to prepare for the Duolingo English test, but if you would like more focused practice with answers, then check out my AI-powered practice platform. When you sign up to our practice platform, you can practice with thousands and thousands of questions and check your answers immediately. Also, for the writing questions, as you can see here, you can get AI feedback. So you can check your grammar mistakes, check if your answer makes sense, and get an estimated score. Of course, getting instant feedback is really helpful for your Duolingo test preparation because there are 14 different question types. So by practicing them every single day, you'll learn what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then you can work on improving your weaknesses. So if you would like to try this practice platform, there is a link below in the video description somewhere down here. Okay, that's not the only major difference between the practice and the official exam. Another main difference is to do with scoring. So let's talk about that right now. Alright then, so let's talk about the scoring differences between the practice test and the official test. Now, when you take a practice test, you will get an estimated score. It'll look something like this, where you'll see a range of around 20 points. Now, this is just an estimate. It is not guaranteed that you'll get a score within that range on the official exam. For example, you might have a bad day and make some really simple mistakes which will lower your score. Or alternatively, you might have a really good day and do better than expected and get an even higher score. After you've taken the official exam, you'll get a scorecard that's a lot more detailed. It'll look something like this. You'll see your overall score, which is the most important number on this scorecard, but your score will also be broken down. You'll get 4 individual sub-scores, a score for speaking, writing, listening, and reading, and 4 integrated sub-scores. a score for production, literacy, comprehension, and conversation. This scorecard is really useful because it allows you and universities' admissions teams to see your overall score and your strengths and weaknesses in English based on different skills. It normally takes Duolingo around 48 hours to grade your exam, and you'll probably get an email when it's ready for you. And now let's talk about the last main difference between the practice and official exam, and it's to do with test setup and rules. When you take the practice test, you do not need to worry about any test setup or rules. You just take the practice test and you get an estimated score. However, when you take the official exam, it is very important that you set up your computer and your environment correctly and follow all of the rules. If you do not follow the rules or get your computer set up correctly, then it's likely you'll receive an invalid certification, something like this. And you do not want that to happen to you. This is what you need to remember. The first thing is to get your space ready. You need to be in a quiet room all by yourself. The room needs to be well lit, like mine is right now, so Duolingo can see your face. You also need to use a secondary phone camera, like I am in this video you can see right here. This secondary phone records your keyboard and screen, and it shows Duolingo that you're not cheating in any way. Of course, this seems like a little bit of a hassle, but it is worth it because it means that it is much more likely that your score will be certified and you won't receive any invalid certifications. Next up is you need to understand and follow all of the rules. Here is a web page with all of the rules outlined very clearly. I'll put a link to this below in the video description. Before you take the test, make sure you read, understand, and when you take the test, follow all of those rules. There are several, so read them yourself and understand them. However, here are some of the most commonly broken rules. Number 1, wearing headphones or earphones. You cannot wear anything in your ears. Your ears should be visible the whole time. Number 3 is not being alone in your room. Just make sure you're by yourself in a quiet room to avoid any complications. Using a pre-memorized answer. When you take the Duolingo English test, all of your speaking and writing answers need to be spontaneous and answering the questions directly. You cannot use a memorized answer. So don't even try that. Just learn how to answer the questions by watching my videos. That's much better than memorizing an answer. And last but not least is looking away from your screen too often. When you take the test, you need to keep your eyes focused on your screen for the majority of the test. Now, if you're typing, you can look at your keyboard. That's okay. But for the speaking questions, you need to be looking at the screen the whole time. Don't look away too often. Okay, that's it. Those are the main differences between the practice and the official exam. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. Also, if you thought this video was helpful, leave a heart emoji to let me know. Okay, now what you need to do is study for the exam. And I have made this full course here on YouTube to help you prepare for your Duolingo English test. I hope this is helpful and I'll see you in this video right now.